Your computer can be hacked simply by installing a ROM package. Now, programmers typically install a lot of packages and users as well. So it might be Python packages, Node.js, or other types of packages or types of modules that they install. And by installing such a module, they could give a hacker direct access into their computer without knowing. So let's say the hacker starts a listener and let's say a Python project. So they start Python, and in Python you can install load modules, and those modules contain functions. For example, we import the module myPackage, and in myPackage we have several functions. We can view them with the dir function, and you'll see we have the functions hello and bye. So we can say myPackage.hello, and now we call that Python function, and you'll see it outputs hello from myPackage. Now we can do this as many times as do once. But what if the function is malicious? So we can send myPackage.bye, and look what happens. The hacker instantly got access into the computer. So if we take a look at the user, we are the user Ubuntu, and you can check the system. We are inside the system Dreamy Mastiff, which is the system below. So simply by calling one Python function in a malicious module, the hacker got instantly access into the computer. And you'll see we are in the folder Home Ubuntu Projects. We are no longer in the hacker's computer. We are now in the victim's computer, the one below. So you want to be very careful with packages you install. It only takes one malicious package for a hacker to get into your computer. You'll see they have this quite long shell here. So what they might do is start bin bash, and they instantly get a normal shell without all this mess here. So the hacker now has access into this computer. They are the regular user Ubuntu, and this is typically how it happens. They get access into a computer. They are not directly root or administrator. So they could, for example, try to get in to look into root folder, but it's of course permission denied. They might try to check their permissions to run things as sudo. So in this case, they can run anything as sudo. So let's say they do sudo bin bash, and you'll see they got root access into the computer below. They hacked their way into root access into administrator. So now they can change whatever they want because they are the user root. So they can look in the root folder. In this case, there's nothing in this root folder except some bash history files and so on. They can install packages, and basically they have control over the entire computer. Now, beyond this root access, they might then try to get into other computers on your network or other computers you have access to. And all this simply because one, the package was malicious, so in this case a Python package, but this could be a Node package or any programming language package or module. Any software that is created not by you, that is externally created, could make your computer hackable or give a hacker direct access into your computer. And second, they didn't configure right the permissions. So in this case, when we took a look at sudo -l, we could run any command as sudo. That's why they instantly can become root or administrator. So you want to either limit that or remove the user from the sudo group altogether so that the hacker cannot directly become administrator on your computer. They cannot directly become root. So those are two security tips that you can get from this video. Now you might wonder, can you detect that this hacker was in your computer? So you might do something like last and see any IP address that might be connected. So in this case, you don't see any IP address, just the same address as always. There's nothing standing out here. Then what you could do is check the bash history files. So you could take a look and see, you can move the directory. So we can say move to Ubuntu and then check the bash history file. See if there's anything there. And you'll see this also looks quite normal, right? This is from another session. We don't see that the user became root and so on. So where you might look next could be in the network traffic if you've been capturing it, or in other locations. So there's a lot of information on that in other videos where you'll see how you can capture or how you can detect these hackers on your system, if there are any. So when you install modules or packages from Python or Node.js or any programming language, you want to be very careful that those modules are legit and not malicious. One thing you could do is check the official repositories. For example, for Python, you have the Python package repository that's on pypy.org. And we could, for example, search their package name. So in this case, my package. And you'll see there are some my packages here. But if we click on them, you'll see that they are made by someone else. And so you'll see, for example, the author name. So that could indicate that it's a little bit more legit, but not necessarily. Now, what you could do, of course, is inspect the code itself of every package. But as a programmer, you might use a lot of different packages, a lot of different modules. And even as a user, you just want to use the software. You don't want to deal with checking hundreds of thousands of modules. So that might not be the most practical, but that would be the most secure. Now, of course, you can write every module yourself. So by checking on the PyPy list, you can see that at least it is there, and you might be able to find the author and some additional information. For example, here we find an author, and we can check the release history. So in this case, there was only one version, and we can view the details. So you can do some more inspection as well. And if you find that the package or module is malicious, some of these sites allow you to report it as malware. So in this case, on the PyPy list, you see we can report a package as malware in case it is malicious. So it's also a bit of a community effort. But as an individual person, you can also decide not to install any Python packages. You could set up things like a firewall, antivirus, and stuff like that to prevent it happening. And also, you could run something in a virtual environment. So you saw we run using a Python virtual environment and became root in this video. But you could use something like Docker and keep it inside a Docker container. So there's more things you can do to prevent the attack from happening and also from escalation. So in this case, a Python virtual environment, it doesn't protect you from the hacker to become root on your computer. But it could be that a Docker environment or another more virtualization software prevents this kind of attack from happening. So there are more things you can do to prevent this attack from affecting your computer.